Oh, what is up, people? What is up? We are waiting for DJ Likwuid. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun chat today. So we got a little bit of her music playing in the background, a live performance here. Actually, let's pull up that bad boy. Let's pull up that bad boy right now. Let me duplicate this. All right, got two of them. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna put up the video while we wait. All right, let's pull this up. Properties. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. Here we go. Let's throw this up here. Yeah, man. Oh, what's up with this? Where's my playlist at? Where's my playlist? Let's pull this up. This is dope. This is so dope. This is so dope for me. Turn it up. Yeah, let's just vibe to this before she comes through. Check it out. Actually, I'm gonna hide me right quick. Wow, we can check it out. Now let's make this bigger. How we make this bigger? Bam. Here we go. So L just picked up some production. She's been switching gears on us. So L started in hip hop. Now she's DJing currently. She's still performing and is now picking up production. So we're just waiting here. See what goes on. And if you're new to the chat, we do have the Stadia 2K League. Season's actually starting tonight. Well, restarting. Well, continuing. But we only take new users on at the end of every season. So yeah, sign up. That link is in my link tree. Let's do this. Make this. Split it up here. Let me make that. Alright, that's cool. We'll use phone, if don't. I'm sure he's doing. She got a Discord update. Oh man, the most inopportune times these things happen, man. So just bear with me, y'all.
People wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute.
Let me drop this in the chat.
When I start to tell them,
let folks know we're gonna go live. Save to this playlist here.
This will be the 663rd
looking at my playlist,
time that I've read the Constitution this year.
Don't be looking at my playlist.
Added to the 1,207 times that I've read it last. I just want to be sure that the verbiage is crystal clear.
Long,
when we say let freedom ring with the harmonies of
track
liberty,
list of
what do we
amazingness
sing?
here.
We shall overcome some
Let me turn this down a little bit. Okay, there we go. Yeah, man. We came up in New York together, man. Came up in New York City. Even with roommates. So, but it's nice to see the growth. Actually making a living off music, man. It's dope. So dope. Let's see here. Bang, bang, bang. Just bear with me if you're tuning in. We are waiting for our illustrious guest.
Just meet me there down by the riverside, sing a song. God, if you're listening, if my
Okay.
feet could just touch the
Hey,
hem of
Al.
your garments, I'll trade in these
What
hands
up?
that fabricate
Hey,
this illusion of
there we go.
liberation.
Can you hear me?
Into the light, your
I can hear you loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Awesome.
How's it going, man?
I'm chilling, man. Just vibing. Just, I was waiting for you, so we put on some clips. I had some
Yeah,
things
I-
running
my
on the stream.
apologies.
No, you're good, man.
I mean, you would think after being virtual for over a year, like I would finally know how to do this, but it's my bad.
Nah, you good. You good. I'm used to it. I mean, I was telling them how we came up together in New York, and I mean, I'm just so in awe of your growth. I must say that.
I love that. Thank you. I'm receiving that.
But I mean, there's one thing I could count on is that y'all Aquarius is gonna be late as shit for everything.
Believe it or not, I'm normally early, but
What?
that's only because it's
When
only
did
because.
this happen?
So when I started DJing, it takes me an hour to set up to DJ.
Okay.
So, like, even if I was late, I still had to be there before everyone else. So I would still be on time for the party no matter what. But having to like set up a lot of equipment made me more time. And being around kids make you on time.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I mean, because like
Yeah.
you gotta like have a buffer. Like, there's
just
definitely
in
a
case.
buffer. All right, so let's start at square one. L, let's just walk through your path to. So I know the latest project is production based, right? It's just strictly beats.
Yeah. Just all beats.
Just all
Yeah.
beats. But let's
Yeah.
go way back to South Carolina.
Okay.
Young L out there in the cola, if you will.
Yeah.
How did we start?
Wow. This is a good question. You know what? When I was coming into this, I thought about the one time we all made a road trip to Carolina. Do you remember that? Was that your first time in Carolina?
Hell yeah! Why else would I be in Carolina?
That's like a perfect answer.
Look,
yeah.
what's that place called? Like in Myrtle Beach, the joint with the hat? Like, what was...
Oh yeah, south of the border. Oh my gosh.
Yo, I saw that in Eric Andre's movie. I'm like, oh my god, what's gonna happen here?
It's so random.
All right, yeah, but so how did we start MCing? Like, what was that moment?
I always remember having music in my life. I mean, well, you know, my aunts, two of my aunts are ministers, so my very first time rhyming was in a church, at my aunt's church in Tulsa.
Oh
I
wow.
did the books of the Bible. Yeah, that was my first time rapping in public. But all of my friends growing up were in some kind of group with me, some kind of rap group or singing group. I just recruited the kids in the neighborhood. But to actually start doing it, you know, for real, with Sweatbox. So all my guys, actually I'm gonna meet with some of them later tonight. But
Oh, word?
my boy Nick, actually, he's a professor in LA now, but he's home for the weekend. So I'm at my sister's.
Dope.
But anyway, he saw me rapping one of the talent shows in high school. I won a couple talent shows, you know, just some regular stuff. I had done some production work with one of these producers, and the man, like DJ Prince Ice, he was like, you know, the hip hop cat. He was from Jersey originally, so he used to play a lot of hip hop down here, which for us, a lot of our stations were still mixed space. So I guess what the Z100s would be up top, it just played pop and everything
like
else.
the top 40.
The top 40 mixed genre. We had a lot of those stations. So the one black station we had, which was the Big DM, played all adult contemporary. So that's like basically soul, you know. And so we didn't. It was like 1 hour where we got to listen to hip hop, and this guy would bring all these records he got from up top and play all this hip hop, and like I would get my tapes, like, you know, I'm aging myself now, but anyway, I would get my tapes and record the mixes, and it was just like so exhilarating. But for whatever reason, I ended up hearing Sound of the Police, KRS-One, and I just loved how he did the metaphor with officer and overseer, and I was like, oh, that's it. I got to figure out how to do this. I got my little rhyme notebooks and everything, you know. So fast forward, like we're talking like high school, like 18, 19 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already done some talent shows, and my boy Nick was like with DJ Prince Ice, and I'm like, yo, introduce me, you know what I'm saying? Because we were in high school together. And he's like, yo, this is Likwuid. She raps too. And I was like, yeah, I rap. And so he was like, all right, word, you know, because back then they're like, yo, spit something for me.
Oh man.
Yo, I did the most horrible freestyle, imp the dimp, ladies pimp, horrible ass rap I've ever freestyled in my life. And he was like, all right, that's cool. Well, come by the studio and play something. I was like, Lord, thank you for second chances. So I took him one of the little demos I did and ended up getting with Nick and his crew, Sweatbox. So that's how all of that happened. I got into what they were doing, recorded my first album, did some hip hop shows in Carolina. You know, we started doing like the college tours and stuff. And, you know, 4 or 5 years after that, I moved up to New York to go to St. John's. And that's how it started.
Killing them. Killing them. I remember the battle times, yo. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh God.
Yo, it was
You
nuts.
know, I often, not me, but my assistant. No, it's so me. I often go to YouTube and like flag it in hopes that they'll remove it. Like, this is inappropriate. This is an inappropriate video. They don't go anywhere. It's still there. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy though, because like you say you get put on the spot right there as an MC, especially as a young MC, and you're like, oh my God, like it's fourth quarter pressure, right? And the one saving grace that like, or a difference maker that true MCs have, and you have it, is being able to perform and convey and connect, right? Like when you speak, the words are felt, right? Not a lot of people have it, even if it's the worst rhyme in fucking ages of time. Like if you can convey it in a manner that connects with somebody, like on a personal level, right? Then that automatically opens the gateway for you to give them more, right? So they saw like, something in you.
Points, man. It's true. It's and it's funny because back then, you know, we had the internet, but it wasn't as big of a tool now as it is, you know, then as it is now. So it's not like you could watch somebody and study who you were going to battle, or, you know, they tell you the day of. So you literally had to make it up on the spot. It's funny because, like every now and again, I would like a video would pop up and I would see some of the comments and the crazy stuff people were saying. Like somebody was like, "Oh, it's clear that Likwuid wrote her rap," and I was like, "How?"
Oh, they don't
I didn't know who
man.
I was going to battle. Like this isn't 2020 when I got to like, oh, who's Top from the Bush? Let me go research. Let me watch some of his videos. Let me study.
Let me go dox him and see where he works at.
Right, like we were still watching Smack DVDs during this time. Like you literally had to wait for a DVD to go watch a battle that happened, I don't know, a year ago. So it was like, and it's funny because they think those videos came out that year, and it's like that was I literally just got to New York. Like they hadn't even built, like the towers were still, you know, God rest the dead, the towers were still gone. Like they were still building up the downtown, it was ridiculous.
The downtown
area. Yeah, it was like,
oh my God, I wish I had like 50K back then. I would have just bought.
Oh man.
Oh my God, yo.
Oh man.
Like even 2000.
That was the thing about you though. You were always like business savvy out of all of us. You were always like, hell yeah. I think you were. I think, you know what? I will say this. I think if we had access to a lot of stuff the kids have access to now, and I'm not trying to sound like a shady auntie because I love Gen Z. Y'all know I stand for everything that Gen Z is doing, but I think you would have been like the one to like really pop, just because you understood the importance of, you had your own studio in your own room, bro. Like it was like you were like, you understood marketing and like how presenting yourself as a brand should look. I mean, look at it now. Look at your Twitch now, man.
Oh, thank you. But I think that just came from like me seeing early on that like I believed in myself so much that I would just put like, you know, just throw whatever I had out there into it, right? And And I didn't think anybody was gonna come around and, you know, pick me up or any shit like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it myself. And then I'll be able to control it. But I guess what, I always talk about this with sport, like, back, like, we were, me and him, like, cause that's my road dog forever. Like, we was a decade too early for what we were doing.
See that?
We were a decade too early or a decade too late if you look at the rhymes. but like, just the way
I'm
we approach
always out
it.
of line, like when I try to color.
Oh my God. Yo, like,
Bro.
Jesus, that dumb rap was hilarious.
No, the dumb rap was hilarious.
That was next level.
I
Like,
mean, like,
looking at LMFAO, I was like, God damn it.
that was like Adult Swim, like you said, 10 years later. Like, that would have been a show people would have followed. But yeah, that's just all that was. I think y'all were on point. Y'all was like, y'all made me step it up. Like, just being around y'all, seeing how you conduct business. You ran the open mic. You set up photo shoots. You guys were reaching out to other producers and really put that business aspect into the underground. Like, you made a lot. You and homies, I think y'all made a lot of people step up their shit. so
Like
love.
just looking at it, like, cause in the underground, it was your tape. You had a little fucking like print like fucking something print out and cut from paper, or they went to multimedia one stop to get it done, which was just somebody printing it out and cutting it with a with the big blade joint.
The slides, yeah.
But y'all actually put work into developing the whole product and like top down, from production to the way it sounds to the visuals. Like, y'all really went in. Y'all had a stylist. Like, y'all were ahead. And
I think that that was such an interesting time, and I think I used to wonder, like, if we were, like, fast forward now, if we were in our early 20s in 2020 and we did all of that now, how would that look? God knows, it would probably still go to shit. But I think what was special about what we were all doing, you know, because all of us played a role in that creative time. We kind of had our, I don't know if you heard about today they're doing like viral villas, like all influencers
like
get
those
together
houses, like YouTube houses, TikTok houses.
YouTube houses, TikTok houses.
Oh my God, we had a fucking camera.
We were doing that. You know, isn't that insane? We were doing that already, and we just didn't. I don't think we knew what we had. I think if we did, we would have been more careful with it.
I think we would have filmed a lot more.
We would have filmed a lot more. We'd have had more content. That's what the name of the game is, content. And I think that, in all honesty, like, it's so interesting because I went to B school and I just had this conversation with Kathleen and La Terry, Mama's Hip Hop Kitchen. Mm-hmm. I went to business school, and everything that I learned about the music business happened outside of a classroom, if that makes sense. You know,
experience.
Like the experience. So the time at Czar, I learned so much. I don't know if you remember my cousin Q, when I would go on the road with him. Mm-hmm. My time on the road with Q, I would learn so much just being out and watching these artists create and do things. And last but not least, being from the South, because, you know, y'all were from New York. So to us, y'all were like, you know, so cool. Y'all had the cheat code. Like, we couldn't walk to Hot 97 in Columbia or Bumblefuck Town down south. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Atlanta was just starting to become what Atlanta is today. So we had to, like, if you were going to put something out or do something, and that was a lot that I learned from Sweatbox. Honestly, Nick was like a marketing genius. He worked for Def Jam Street Team. So he pretty much took I'll tell this one story. So they were a part of the team. Like, when a Def Jam artist came to Carolina, they took him around and you know, got to, like, him and his boy Rob Lowe, shout out to them. But whatever they did with the Def Jam artists, he just copied it and did it with us. Like,
that's dope.
You know what I mean? So I learned a lot of that from them, like the merchandising aspect, the branding aspect, the shipping things off and getting it printed and done. And it was just like a lot of us were growing into whoever we were going to be. Like, my first album cover, shout out to Sanford Green, like, he's like draws for Marvel now. Like, I couldn't get him today, you know what I mean? But back then, everybody was figuring out who they were going to be. And I think that time in Harlem, like, we had our own viral villa. We were all growing into whatever we were to become. And it was just everybody's ideas feeding off of everyone else. And then it like the Star Rebellion was genius. Like how we just kind of had a whole crew. It was like
it's
Black
community.
History,
It was like it was so lovely, man. Like it was really one of the best times, man. Like it pulled.
It was a good time.
It definitely made me grow like so much, even beyond like beyond music and business, like just as a person, like being more acceptable to other people and other ways of life, like that. I mean, you saw the growth from when I put myself out there. I was pretty tough to fucking deal with early on.
We all were. To be honest,
but like there's something to say about, and it's just something that crosses my mind a lot when we talk about just people being accepting of other cultures or ways of life. Like there's something to be said about exposure, the power of exposure, right? To how other people live their shit. Like when you start to see that it doesn't really affect you, like you're just closing off more opportunities for yourself to learn, to grow, to have new friendships. Like that shit, like that shit's important. Like you got to get out of your bubble. And I like that's why I can't fully like it's hard, because we've all been subject to different forms of racism, and still, like, I mean, those people in the middle of the country that they think they hate us, but if they were around more different types of people, more walks of life, that would probably end pretty quickly.
Yeah. I recently did a piece on the topic of women and activism, and it actually came out really well. And it's rare as a queer Black woman in America. It's very few times that I've ever thought of myself as an ally, just because we're typically at the front of everyone's struggle, and then at the back of mine when it's time for people to stand up for us. So, when I heard about how many attacks were happening on trans women and how many attacks were happening in Asian communities, like, it really like struck a nerve, because a lot of people in my timeline that had been so vocal, I'll say it like this, had been so vocal for other things, were suddenly silent. And it frustrated me, and in my 30s, I've learned how to channel it in a positive way. Because before I would just tell you how I'm feeling, but I was like, let me channel it in a positive way. So I actually wrote a poem about it, and it kind of spoke to what you just said. I think conversations are key. I think people fear what they don't understand or fear what they don't know. And too often, especially in a scrolling world, and especially in a time where what you see isn't even controlled by you, like we think, oh, this is, I'm intentionally finding this information. They don't know that an algorithm is just that. It's going to put in front of you what pushing it to you, right? So it's one of those things where if you don't unplug, if you don't get out and go talk to people, you're easily able to fall in that bucket. And, people have said things to me, and I've gotten into conversation and unfollows, I don't care. Bye. But I've gotten a conversation. They're like, these same people you speaking out for didn't say anything when Black Lives Matter happened. I was like, I don't care. You don't get to, if you're going to be an activist, or if you're going to be someone that speaks out, you don't get to just speak out when it's beneficial to you. You speak out because human beings are human beings, and that's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
And so it's like
you can't pick and choose when it's right or wrong. Well,
no,
what's right or wrong?
Pick, I mean, who said it? It was in the letter James Baldwin wrote to Angela. If they come for you by day, they'll be coming for us by night. The racism, bigotry, patriarch doesn't stop. It's like, oh, you can't wear your hijab in France. Okay, so that's not cool. Oh, but that doesn't affect you. No, because then you're gonna say then you can't wear dreads in France, or you can't. It doesn't. stop with one group of people. Oh, they're just coming for the gays. Okay, well, tomorrow they might be coming for the Jews. Then they coming for the blacks. Then they coming for the Asians. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that now people are beginning to be, I guess, more vocal and understand a bit more about how systematic racism occurs, how classism occurs, how all those things occur. But the work doesn't stop. And the work doesn't always have to be us marching in the streets. It can be having a conversation with someone.
Yeah, it could be
sharing music with someone. Like it could just be, it's really just getting to know people and understanding that the more we embrace all of these differences, the more that we embrace the things that seem to separate us, we actually realize it just brings us closer together. And I think that's the cheat code.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's the cheat. And that's why I love hip hop.
Dude. Oh my God.
It brings all of that together.
So much so, like, it's amazing. Like, so you've been all over the fucking world. I mean, shit, I remember when we were in the villa, y'all went over to Thailand and shit. And I mean,
yeah,
my broke ass was hating a little bit. I was like, God damn,
Man, I wish we had enough that we could have took all of us. We didn't know. See, we needed a negotiator. We needed one more person to be like, yo, we need 5 tickets.
But I mean, like, it's crazy how far like music can bring people and let you see the world and let them see your world because you're bringing that over. What was the response like being overseas performing? And I mean, we're now at that point in time. You guys had fire music, but you weren't like we weren't well known, right? But you guys traveled the world with it, but people love the music. Like there's something about hip hop more than other forms of music that just it resonates. And like what was that response like just when all the times you went overseas?
Well, I've only gone alone, so the group didn't make it. I went overseas.
You went, okay.
But my girl Lynn, she came with me to make sure I was looking fly. So anyway, it was interesting. Okay, so I'll talk about the first time that I got to tour overseas, and I'll talk about the last time, which was 2019. Yeah, because COVID was 2020. So whenever I say last year, I always say 2019. I just skip over 2020. But
I mean, 2020 we was all in front of the computer. So I mean,
we were all there.
Time's a man-made construct. The last year didn't happen.
Period. Exactly. So the first time I went overseas, it was so exhilarating, and it's interesting you say that because I've never been a big American artist, and I'm okay with that. I think that growing up, we thought it's one or the other. Like the music business is like you're either this big artist or you're nothing at all, and that's not how it works. The music business has the 1% as well. You have the Beyoncés, the Jays, the Kendricks, the so on and so forth, and then there's like everyone else are like I wouldn't say mid-major, but even within independent, you can still be a 6-figure artist and be doing okay. If that makes sense, like
like in the people we've come across, there's some. Yeah. Which is like mind blowing. I mean, shit, like you're making a living off of music, right? Like it's possible, and if it's something you love to do, like do it. Like that's just to the people watching. Possible. Like if it's out there, you don't have to measure yourself against others. Like I think that's where a lot of unhappiness and depression comes from nowadays, because we've never had a window into supposedly how quote unquote other people are living. And a lot of what you see isn't actually what's happening. Like don't measure yourself against others. Just
never measure your success with someone else's ruler. I've always believed in that. And it's funny that I'm glad we're talking about this, because that's something I like to share with young people whenever I do talks. I'm like, I've always been like in the indie space here in America, but I've always been able to maintain, a very healthy lifestyle. Like, I'm not buying Teslas and giving them to family members, but, one day.
You're smiling and you're doing what you love. And that's exactly. A lot of people don't get to do that shit. There's a lot
That's
of people
facts.
like fucking selling shoes like Al Bundy and just, oh, I hate life. Like,
And
yeah.
nothing's wrong with it too. But
If you like to do it, do it.
if you want to do that, do what you love. You never have a day of work. So, so yeah, my first trip to Thailand, again, like, that was just from like freestyling in America. That was the battles, the EO dub stuff. I had just won the challenge. I was like the second woman to do so. I think Chocolate Thai was the first or something.
Shout out to Chocolate Thai.
Shout out Chocolate Thai. But for, they wanted me to come over and I thought I was doing songs. They just wanted me to freestyle. So I was like,
what?
I had no idea what I was doing. I'd given the DJ like, 7 of my records and I was like, okay, we can do it in this order. I was trying because he was a French DJ. So it was cool because they were doing like this international thing.
That's dope.
And got there and he was just playing whatever. And I was like, oh my God. So like 90% of the set was just made up. It was just like freestyling. But the cultural experience there, it was my first time going out of the country. It was my first time, doing music in another place. And for one, Thailand is absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. The people were just some of the most friendly, loving folks that I'd ever met. And I really got schooled on just being an American, I guess. Like, so I think Americans sometimes we take things for granted, and let me not speak for all, let me take things for myself, speak for myself. Like I should have taken more time to prepare myself to be in someone else's country. Like, why am I over there only trying to speak English? I could have did a little research. So anyway, as I grew up and became more mature, I was like, next time I go somewhere else, I'm going to, research and learn. So the last trip that I made, so we're going to fast forward now. This is 10 years later, 14 years later. I don't know, 2019.
I think 10. Right?
20. Whenever I went to Europe for the first time, I made it a point to like research culture. I was like, let me just try to be better about that, but it's interesting because I was in different countries while there. In certain places, I just don't think they'd seen Black people before. Because I'd also done Eastern Europe and Western Europe. Like Berlin, it was like, okay, it felt very American, I guess, but the first time I was in Kosovo, I could tell, it was just like walking outside and just people would stare at me. And I was like, what is wrong? Am I like looking weird or whatever? And it was just, I realized I was like, oh, I'm the only Black person here,
in all of Kosovo.
In all of Kosovo, and it was very, very interesting, the conversations. And I had a lot of learning experiences for myself there. Because Kosovo was actually a country that what was crazy was I actually did a research project on them in high school. So I remembered, what they had gone through with the ethnic cleansing in Serbia and all that stuff, like, and how Clinton, like to this day, they love Bill Clinton and what he did for refugees who needed to come to America. And I mean, so it was a lot. It was very interesting to see even spaces that hadn't recovered yet.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's a long time removed.
A long time, yeah. So it was very humbling, I guess that, in that walk as well. But I will say, like, I don't know, with traveling at that point and just being able, again, to connect with other people through hip hop, like the music became secondary almost. It was just more about interacting with people that we both loved hip hop. Like we all loved the same artists, regardless of a language barrier, regardless of different cultural upbringing. That's the thing that brought us together. And I just thought that was always beautiful. And it's always that's something that I never take for granted, especially now, like having like travel taken away from us per se, it's something that I knew even at that time, I didn't want to take for granted, and it's great for learning experiences. I was on, so I brought that up because it's different being treated as an American artist over there versus home. So, going to do radio station tours and stuff like that, like being on the radio and someone like, oh, so you're from Harlem. I heard it's rough there. And it's like, well, what do you mean by rough? It's, ghetto. I was like, well, I haven't seen any ghettos in Harlem. It's just having to have some grace because as a Black woman, I've learned like people take you one of two ways. You're either hyper visible, hyper invisible, and being assertive can come across as being aggressive. And that's the last thing you want to do is validate someone's point of view. But these can be teachable moments because I don't want you all to misconstrue where the real ghetto is in America, which at that time was in the White House. Period. But anyway, so, it was like dealing with those microaggressions in a way that's a teachable moment for everyone.
That's so funny that you bring that up. Like that's one thing, like when you travel, like people say, oh, don't go here, don't go to this neighborhood, it's hood. Like, fam, like most of the world is living under I guess barely getting by, I would say. Like we're making it, but it is very slightly. Like we're comfortable, but it could go any minute. Because
it could go any minute, but also it's like a lot of these opinions come from whatever movies or whatever they have access to at the time. And it's like if someone's like, "Yo, man, I heard Bed-Stuy is crazy." It's like in the 90s. Like, have you been to Bed-Stuy recently? I went to the old neighborhood I used to live on McDonough between Marcy and Tompkins. There's like a mural on the ground, like little marble, beautiful, like peaceful, serene mural. Like it's so different. It's a situation where, and it's dangerous. Like we're making fun about gentrification, but it's very dangerous. It's something that, they're doing the same thing with Gullah lands in South Carolina. They're trying to buy up these lands from Black people. Like, it's ours. This is ours, But they want to, put malls and shit there. Like, it's ridiculous. So it's one of those things where we have to be aware of it. We have to have those conversations, and we have to have those teachable moments to make sure that, it's erasure doesn't occur. Because that's how erasure happens, when we don't talk about it. So, I mean, that goes back to the whole conversation piece.
Just talk to people, y'all out there. Just talk to people. See from their perspective. Step out of your shoes. We'll all be in a better place at the end.
All of the things.
Yeah, but you're talking about how a lot of the people that you were having discussions with had the same taste in artists as you. Are you guys like similar art? Like, what are you listening to now, DJ? Like, what's on heavy rotation?
Okay? I have been listening to, I've been listening to a lot of K Tronada, which I always go back to K Tronada. Like, I'm just happy, like him being the first Black queer artist to get a Grammy in electronic music category is dope. So shout out to that. And I've been like revisiting old stuff. River Deep, Mountain High, for whatever reason, I'm like stuck on that song. Tina Turner, Phil Spector. Because I watched her documentary, which was like super empowering, super amazing. But it was like, my mom used to play Tina Turner all the time. But watching her documentary made me think about how much she was kind of like the Beyonce of that era. And I say that only because of the work ethic and her ability to be a vocal athlete. And I'll say vocal athlete because, man, just try dancing and rapping at the same time. Like, when I was performing a lot, I used to like jog and rap. That's hard. Yeah. So like to hear the notes and stuff she was hitting, and this is like, I mean, the entertainers from that era, 60s, 70s, the James Browns, the Tinas, all the people that was like dancing and like singing with no auto-tune, no help. Like,
they had no show track back then.
None. Show track, like everything is live. Like, I was like, yo, this woman is a true athlete. And you can tell by the cuts in it. I mean, we saw the Angela Bassett movie, like, when she had to get cut for that part, but I mean, this woman probably wasn't going to the gym. This is just her. Just from working. You know what I'm saying? So I've been revisiting her stuff a lot. And outside of that, I've been listening to a lot of Dorothy Ashby, a lot of jazz. So she has this album, Afro Harping, I believe it's called. And I've been into her stuff lately. So I've been like chill. I hadn't listened to, I'm not trying to think what new stuff am I listening to. I think I've just been going really like old school throwback.
Old school throwback, pull back from the hip hop a little bit, just to give your ears a little bit of a rest. Maybe.
Here's a little bit of rest, but I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I love Meg. I love Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, I love Meg too.
I love Megan Thee Stallion. She gives me lots of life, lots of energy. Who else? I'm drawing a blank. Yeah,
you listen to Rhapsody?
I love Rhapsody. Yeah, I love Rhapsody.
Yeah, I like rap too.
Crazy. Yeah, Rhapsody is dope.
What is it? Did you see that tweet, the Duro joint?
I did not.
Oh, he said something about where's the female version of Kendrick? Like just naming like Kendrick, Cole, and Nas. Like where the female versions of that? I'm like, are your ears broken, bruh? Like they're
right.
all over the place. Like I name dropped you. I name dropped She Real because she out here.
Oh, I did see that. I did see that tweet. Yeah, She Real is doing really good.
She killing it, man. Like I wish somebody like the world needs more of that, man. Like just needs more.
Whenever she pops up on my timeline, it's always something big. It's always something dope. Like I love. She has like a whole movement behind her.
Yeah, I think they're doing an artist villa too. I think they got like a little collective. Well, not a little collective. They have a collective like where they all like, you know.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So I mean that shout out to She Real in Harlem, man.
Yeah, shout out She Real.
But yeah, I was like, are you crazy? It's out there. You're just not looking for it, or you're just not paying attention. You're just looking at face value, which is we got to do better than that, man.
This is probably one of the most healthier times of various representation of women hip hop artists. I love that we have Meg and Rhapsody. I love that we have City Girls and Tierra Whack. I love that we have Princess Nokia and No Name. I love that we have all of these different women who do all these different styles of hip hop. You know what I mean? And it's very much everybody can live, everybody can shine. That's how it should be. And I think for so long, people only allowed men to do that. It's like you would totally get Drake, Future, Kendrick, J. Cole, Chance, and you wouldn't expect any of them to sound alike or rap about the same thing. And that's okay because they're men. But it's like women, it's like you want to see one style of rapping from a woman? No.
It's just,
why can't we have all of these different forms and flavors of femininity, of lyricism, of storytelling, of sex? You know, women can talk about sex too, and that's okay. Like the whole WAP thing was ridiculous to me.
Oh my
God!
the
next day, I think like Throat Babies came out, and it's like all of these Hotep rappers were like, "Oh, these women out here." I'm like, "Are you serious?" 2 Live Crew, like literally put on any song.
Bro, like 90% of the records out are about like, you know,
exactly
doing adult stuff.
It's some ridiculously crazy way. And I'm like, not even kidding. Like the next, like Throat Babies came out like right after that or around the same time. And I'm like, let me see if these same Hotep dudes say something about this song, Silence. And I'm like, that's just a form of sexism.
That just goes back to like why are you worrying about what somebody else is doing with their shit if it's not bothering your shit? Like if it has no impact on your day-to-day life, if nobody's getting hurt, nobody's getting killed, you know, they're not making somebody you love sick, then what's the problem? Mind your business.
Right.
Like what I eat don't make you shit.
Period. Facts.
For real, man. But like, yeah, it's a great. I love that there's no barrier to entry now, especially for the young folks. Like y'all have all the opportunity in the world right now, and you know, seize it. Like, and I see so many people doing so much great stuff with such high quality. Oh my God, like like the visuals from people that are completely independent, like they smash on shit that was out 10 years ago. And
Yeah.
like the fact that gatekeeper's gone, you can really control your narrative and your story, and you know how you want to come across, or you know how the message you put out to the world, and use that leverage. use that leverage to do good, damn it.
Yeah, and I love that even on the business side of things, like what's happening with NFTs is crazy. And I think that more things like that are going to change the game. The more that we're able to not only create and put out art, but do so in a way that completely cuts out the middleman and gives us royalties, gives us payment over time. That's the cheat code. Because far too often we've been creating culture for other people to benefit from, for other people to be able to reuse, repackage, and reship and put their price on it and completely cut out the originals. And I think like that time is over. And I love that. I love the way that young people are understanding that. Like influencer culture isn't new. We always been influencers.
Just
We
now
just didn't know what to call ourselves, you know. Like it's a situation now where people know their worth. And I think it could be I think maybe it was to the millennials' detriment, but Gen Z like studied what we did and was able to flip that. So now it's like, I know my following. I don't need your brand needs me. And I have 25,000 people that I can tell at any time to buy or not buy your products, and they'll listen to me. So this is what I need from you in order to make this deal happen. I think they understand that more so than, and I think that's just a growing pain, right? When you get a new technology, you got to figure out how to use it. You got to read the manual. You got to try it out a little bit and then see how it works, you know? And then with cutting out the middleman and just becoming the brand itself, it's a very serious thing for culture in general, but also for the creator. And I think that businesses are starting to see that. So yeah, in the next 10 years, it'll be very interesting to see how that works, how the wealth distribution comes around.
Have you looked into NFTs for yourself, or?
I have. And it's cool because I'm actually working on a project. I'm consulting on a project, very special project I can't talk about quite yet, but it'll be coming out soon. And we were exploring NFTs in that with the release of that. So that's on a business side. But personally, I thought about throwing something out from projects that I had before, but I think maybe this summer I'll see a way to do it. I've also learned that you don't have to be a part of the first wave. You don't want to be the MySpace or the Black Planet. And you can be the Facebook or the Instagram, you know. You know, and not to sound like that, I think it's great that a lot of people are jumping in early because you get to be the first wind of, you're like, oh, I did this first. And it's like, that's great. But like, what happens when I can have a virtual world in an NFT and I'm the first to do that? Or, you know, because they were able to work out a lot of the kinks that they haven't worked out now. And what happens when people can pay with Bitcoin and not just Ether or whatever? Because right now you can only pay with one type of cryptocurrency. So at some point, if it aligns, you know what else I learned to do, Chris? I learned to, because you remember, I needed to control everything. Like in my 20s, I was a very headstrong woman. I was like, I want it this way and that. I learned it'll manifest. I've learned also now, like, if I don't quite figure it out right now, I don't have to force it. So I'm going to see how it manifests. But I think I am going to do something in the NFT space. And I want healing and sound to be a part of that. I definitely want sound to be a part. I think let the artists have their fun now with the visual aspect and whatever Azalea Banks did with her sex tape. But like, I want to think of something.
Rewind. She got
something more fun.
She got footage.
It's just the sound. It's just the audio.
Oh, it's just the audio. Oh,
it sold for like $180,000, something crazy.
God.
Yeah,
bruh.
Yeah, that's what she did with her talent. But I'm not hating, girl. Get your bag.
No, I mean that's. But man, it's a human thing. It's the only way to more humans get made. So
it's how we got here. So But yeah, I'll figure it out in the manifest. What about you? Are you gonna do something in the NFT space, or have you?
I've been kicking around getting into more visual art lately. But like in a digital space, you know, because I'm not a real I've always been into tech and creating things in the virtual world more than in the physical world. Because I just see that's where the future is going, and you know, from my perspective.
Yeah.
But I'm wrestling with the ecological impacts that all these digital currencies and things like NFTs have, because I just global warming's out of control, and I don't know if I want to put more more harm into the world, but I do think there's a way for us to create those or use those solutions without having it hurt the planet. Like there's a way to make it happen. It's just that we don't rely on enough renewable energy as a society. As humans, we can live from the sun, but we refuse to do it.
Yeah, we refuse to do. A lot of people would lose money. A lot of people that that's where some redistribution of that wealth would start, because a lot of people that have money in those spaces are old money people. So yeah, I think that speaks to why they're so hesitant to let that go. And I used to work for a certain energy company. I always felt conflicted about that, and I didn't understand why we weren't spending more time in the green renewable energy space that at that time, I wouldn't say it was budding, but it was very much front of conversation in general. But yeah, I mean, I think they have to figure that piece out, and I think they will, because here's one of two things. You got to think: the banks, the oil companies, the gas companies, the people that would not benefit from renewable energy are kind of all on the same side, right? And with cryptocurrency, even though it's helping those folks, it kind of is a space that could topple, if you will, those conglomerates. So I think once they figure out the renewable energy piece, and I honestly think it's like you said, put some solar panels on top of those plants. Like restrict trading the same way that the stock market does. You can trade from between these times and that time. After this time, you can't swap out your currency. Like it's, we have to
we gotta
tone down the amount of electricity. Yeah, and then when the sun is in the sky, it's we're ready to go. But yeah, I think there are other options. I mean, we've gotten to the point where if they wanted if they wanted cars to run on water, they could.
Oh yeah.
If we wanted, for just be hydrogen power.
Oh boy, got hurt.
Yeah, and that's because it's a threat to, a system of capitalism that has worked for so long, and a lot of people would lose money. A lot of folks that kind of been on top of everyone for a while would have to be humbled, unfortunately.
What's crazy to me, like I mean, just being in the mental space where I'm at right now, like looking at everything people need in the world, we have more than enough, and we have the technology to make it happen. We have the resources to make it happen, but we're just as a society is on Earth, holding on for dear life to systems that don't work for us. I mean, you started to see people like kind of snap into it when we were home, for those first couple months of quarantine. Like people were like, oh shit, there's a lot more to life than just going 9 to 5. There's a lot out here. Time is finite, because we were seeing all this death around us, and I don't know what that catalyst is going to be, because something needs to happen for us to evolve. And I don't even mean like evolve with like 3 legs and shit, but I mean like evolve as a species to be able to reach that next level of I guess society or how we function, because people don't gotta starve, people don't gotta be cold, people can have clothes if they want.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah. It's I think that, to your point, like you said, when things started happening last year, those first couple of months, we all checked in, we tuned into that, right? Like, this is greater than me. Like, I don't need to be just tuned into work and then tuned out of self-care, tuned out of family, tuned out of humanity, you know? And even when we were dealing with the dual pandemic, the pandemic of COVID and the pandemic of racism, we came together. People came together. It was a beautiful time. And when we were all in a really bad space, there was a lot of togetherness. And then I won't say we got comfortable, but I think we felt like we did something. You know, when you feel like you did something, it's like, okay, I'm good now. I'm straight. We fought the power. We beat COVID. I'm vaccinated. What are they saying? Pfizer, Poppy, or whatever's going on.
5G. They say I got that new 5G.
So I think that, like you said, something else has to happen, which is scary, right? Because it's like, it couldn't get worse than what we went through. Like, what else needs to happen for us to get that awareness? But we are in the age of Aquarius. We are. We finally made it here, right? And it is an age of awakening. It is an age of the we outweighs the I. And some of us get that. Some of us are there. I think 2020 was enough for us to get there fully. Like, I live in a space of always wanting to be in my higher self, but understanding that I'm human and I can't be. So I'm just always aspiring for that. And within that, I understand that Faye, Likwuid, Shauna, me, something came before me and something's coming after me, you know? And it's kind of like land acknowledgement, right? It's like you acknowledge your space in the universe. So as I try to attain my higher self, I know that while I am here, I need to respect my ancestors, those that came before me, and I need to make this place better for my children or whoever's to come after me, right? So living in that space, my I diminishes. It's about we. So whatever I do, I think, and I try to perform in that space where this is going to be better for whoever comes after me, especially, again, like, and that's just as a Black woman. That's, forget artists, forget hip hop, just who I am, Fabian, who I am. Whenever I have a seat at the table, I want to make room for another sister, just automatically. You know what I mean? It needs to be, we lift as we climb. That's, you know, not to come with the cliches, but I think the more that people start to look at the world like that, the better a place it will be. But I don't want it to be like, oh, something more detrimental has to happen. It's just an awakening.
It doesn't have to be death and destruction. It could just be like a light bulb turning on, and then we're like, oh man, you know, there is a better way. Or
but I don't think
it could even be like a small community, and we see it happening.
It could be
like, oh my God, look at them. They're fine. They're chilling.
It will happen. I think we're on that path to it happening, whatever that looks like. And you know, I hope I'm alive to see it.
Me too.
You know, but if I'm not, I want to definitely make sure that I have some part in the process of it coming to fruition. You know.
Speaking of the future, and I guess of last year too, like have you done anything like virtual beyond like a Zoom performance? Did you like do like any VR type thing? I saw somebody had like a VR concert. I was like, oh man, that'd be dope for performers. I just want to know. I haven't spoken with anybody that did anything like in VR.
It's so funny you brought that up. So I did an Afrofuturism play. Performance piece. I should call it a performance piece. But I partnered with the Lower East Side Girls Club, who has the East Village Planetarium, Lower East Side of Manhattan. And the piece is called Tea Time. and it came from the LMA Flossie album, but it was a journey through Afrofuturism and feminism, I guess would be the quickest way to describe it. And I saved up so much money. I spent so much money on this thing, and it was all worth it. And we had planned for 2020 to reprise it and do it again. And when that didn't happen, obviously I was like, okay. I went to a space of kind of like self-healing, because it was like a darker time creatively, emotionally. It was really hard. But I didn't want to make anything new, so I started applying for grants and, really trying to tap into, because I knew I wouldn't be able to fund it myself again. Like, I was just able to fund it that one time in hopes that we would tour. And me and Willie Green, shout out to Willie Green, we did get to go to Oregon State and produce snippets of the performance to them as far as the songs. But I was like, if I do this again, I need a virtual reality element. Like, I didn't get any grants for that, but I did get a grant for another project. We can talk about that later. Thank God for that. But I didn't even get a grant for LMA Flossie for Tea Time, and I was so disappointed. So I took the script and I was like, I'm going to send it off. I'm going to get this thing made into a film, because I can't perform it. To answer your question, I was like, I can't do this virtually without doing it virtually. Like, I can't do a 2D, because I hit up all of the actors, and shout out to all of, they know who they are. I was like, yo, we're going to do this Zoom panel. We're going to record it and send it to such and such, and they're going to display it for us. And I was like, that is boring. Like, I don't want to do that. So I send off my script, and, I got rejected like 3 times. So that's the build up for that. Everyone said no.
Shoot. No. God damn it, we keep shooting.
We keep shooting. Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, kids.
That LinkedIn shit.
So then I get on Clubhouse, and this isn't leading up to a win. I'm just telling you the full story.
Just tell me the story.
But I get on Clubhouse, and I'm in these rooms, and I'm like talking to all these amazing people, and I meet this one guy, and he's like, yeah, I do virtual reality stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I have this Afrofuturism piece. I want to send it to you because I have this idea where I want to bring people into a virtual world, but I want to use their phone. I want them to be able to use their phone and put it in their face, and, kind of like the same way that you would use an Oculus or whatever. He's like, yeah, hit me up. Dude reschedules with me 3 times. Never happened. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go back to the drawing board. Again, I told you this doesn't lead to a win, but this was just the process of why I haven't done a virtual thing, because it's a lot of work. And I'm because of what we were able to do in the planetarium, people talked about it that for that full year, people talked about it. And I haven't been able to, if you weren't there, I can't even pitch it to you. Like,
you can't even walk us through what it was.
I will do my best. There was a live band.
Okay.
There were actors.
Okay.
We were in a planetarium. It was hip hop, jazz, Gullah influence, movement. And you were time traveling in this oval space while we performed for you. And that's the best way I can describe it.
So what you need is to find somebody with access to one of those 360 cameras.
There is a 360 video of one of the songs on YouTube, but it doesn't do it justice. It doesn't do it justice.
It doesn't do justice until you put on the thing and you watch the whole time.
You have to be in it. So it's really hard for me. Like, I've done some workshops for people. I've done some DJing stuff for people but I know personally for me, I don't want to go back to doing shows the way I used to do shows. Even with the band, it was so exhilarating. It was so cool. Or with the DJ, make it very hip hop. Or
hey, gosh, she's a great fucking performer. I mean, we watched the playlist that was playing. Jesus.
That's love. I appreciate you,
so much
Thank
energy.
You.
Always the best out there.
That means a lot. That means a lot coming from you. You'll never know. But maybe eventually I'll do another thing. But I really want to do Tea Time again virtually.
Tea Time's your baby right now.
It's my baby right now.
You want to birth it.
Yeah. I think until I do that, I'm gonna be just not stuck, because I don't want to say that. That's not the word I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna be really focused on presenting that again the way that I want people to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious about doing. Someone's been talking to me about 3D audio. I don't know if you know about that. I don't know what that means, but I'm more curious about it now.
3D audio. Oh, like
So
I know,
want
like
some of that.
AirPods, like the new ones. If you move away from the phone,
Yeah,
it gets
it
farther, and like when you get
That's
close again, like maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's what it is. And it's interesting because while we were planning Tea Time, Dave Pentecost, shout out Dave, shout out Lynn, shout out Jenny, Erica, everybody at Growth Club, by the way, Kelly, my girl Kelly. It's interesting because the gentleman that was running the projections for us mentioned something about how we could probably do some sound stuff with the band. You know, we should talk about this offline too, because these are really good ideas. I want somebody to be watching it and then, all right,
bye y'all.
Talking about that. No, but so yeah, to answer your question, like, I don't know if the traditional virtual performance might be a little tough for me until I figure out how to do Tea Time again.
Yeah,
in that way. The segue. So, you remember Dwight, my boy Dwight Allen O'Neill?
I remember Dwight. Dwight was like master stylist, and I remember, I gave him that track, and he was so hyped.
I have to send you a video. So he was on a reality show, and he played that track for his birthday and rapped it.
Oh my god!
It was so epic. It was so he was so into it. I have to send it to you. We were on a party bus in Manhattan. It was so funny.
Man.
It was so funny. But yeah. So anyway, me and Dwight, that's my work husband. I love that guy. We're doing a healing sound garden in August. That's what I got a grant for. So it's for a DJ. It's a DJ event, but we're gonna make it part virtual, part in real life.
So healing sound garden.
It'll be a healing sound garden. So
walk us through.
Sure.
Bring me there.
So there will be music.
Okay.
There will be meditation. There will be healing and horticulture. So we're going to get a bunch of dope women DJs, trans and cis women, to come and play for us virtually. And we're going to do a garden in Harlem. And we're going to just do music for 6 hours, and folks could tune in or stop by and get some healing, get some good vibrations. And it's called The Mothership. So we're going to pay homage to mothers of music, Mother Shaka, Mother Nina, Mother Tina, all of the mothers of music. And we're also going to pay homage to Mother Earth. So it'll be something super cool. Yeah. So, and shout out to Upper Manhattan Engagement Zone. They saw the vision, they believed in your girl. So thank y'all so much for the grant. This is kind of like the first time I mentioned it, but we're going to announce it probably in June.
Okay.
So
if once I get my 5G,
5G, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I'll be up. I'll be up, yo, and I definitely will pop in. Make it a point to. There's a dope florist I know if y'all need one. So
please,
like New York based. They're also in marketing and amazing. I'll send contact.
Yeah, thank you.
No doubt. How the fuck do I know florists? The fucking internet.
That's wonderful. No, it's the better connected.
Yeah, that's like I'm telling you, the last couple months, like, cause like this didn't happen. Like my main focus was just finding people doing dope things and trying to amplify their voice, cause I want everybody heard, and especially like people like yourself and all the guests I've had on here. Like people are really putting their heart and soul into their work, or just doing things that are out of the extraordinary and just exposing that to the rest of the world. What I know, my platform ain't huge, but every little bit counts, and it
it's
creates
still a platform.
Yep, and it creates something that like the internet is evergreen if you do it right. So
period.
Yeah, and it's evergreen regardless, because you put something out there and it's gonna stay there forever. But like the reason I started this interview series / gaming thing is because I wanted to cross pollinate and amplify. And I was just hitting everybody up. I'll be scrolling, adding, DMing, bam. Oh, this is dope, bam, DM, and
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I had to invite the illustrious Likwuid to the chat.
Man, I'm so happy you invited me. This was fun.
No doubt, no doubt. I can't wait
This
to. We're gonna drop offline in a little bit, and then we're gonna talk more about that stuff that we can't talk online, like
Yeah,
the ideas.
please. Let's definitely build on that.
But yeah, so the new project is all new beats. How did we get here? Like when did the production bug hit you? Because it hits everybody different.
It does. So, did you ever? This is hilarious. Did you ever hear any of my beats from when I was a teenager, or when I was making my own beats? I should say. Did I ever play that for you?
Not
if
much.
I didn't, you're lucky.
Not
okay,
much.
So
No.
Yeah. So Lynn used to hear a lot of my stuff that I used to make in college, which is hilarious. But anyway, I hadn't made beats in years. I don't even. And they were horrible too. Oh my gosh. I was using Magic Studio. I don't know if you guys even know what that is, but it was so random. It wasn't even on Fruity Loops. Yeah, it was like
just loops.
I
remember that.
How to sample a little bit and plugged in my keyboard. Oh man, what a time. I was very happy when I met Ill Nature. Shout out Ill Nature from Sweatbox and Midi Mark, who started giving me beats early on. DJ Ambush. So anyway, how did this project come about? Diary of a Mad Black DJ started as a journal. Like I was just, writing a lot while everything was happening. The first thing I published was my 60 days off social. Like I took a social media hiatus, which was much needed. But to go back even further, in 2020, people were asking me to get on songs and rap, and I was not in a rapping mood. I think I've always thought of myself as an artist. Like I've always been very outspoken about race, about sexuality, about gender, all of the things in my music. I was always been vocal about that. In 2020, the last thing I was thinking about was rapping. The last thing I was thinking about. I just didn't feel like creating.
Yeah.
There was I had hit a wall. I want to say this as peacefully. Some Black people have been marching for so long that we're tired of marching. And I'm going to quote an activist. I won't say who she is, but she posted this. She said, the United States should be